The team that comes out on top, move on the upper brackets, and the team that loses ends their journey here.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting on the opposite side of the map, Zorn, and making sure that there's no invades coming in from Aero. Looking at the laning phase here for now, looks like no one is going a little bit too aggressive here. In fact, we're looking at Zorn trying to make sure that Aero 404 gets a lot of farm. Looking at the emblem setup here, it's quite interesting to see that Smooth has that thrill, because if we see at MplPH, even Brusco picked up a little bit more attack speed just to make sure that you can have all those mini stuns on standby.
Yeah, attack speed will always benefit a hero like Badang. So going for Trill is an interesting choice here from Smooth, just to give him a little bit of that extra stat, perhaps to survive the lane, since he knows he's not going to get prio against Reza on this glue.
Yep. Right now, looking at how the movement coming in from both teams, no one is really showing any kind of intention to really move the game as fast as they can. Kim is just making sure that he freezes the wave around his side. Aero goes in, and
I'm actually not sure who
I'm not sure who got it.
Yeah, that happened so fast. I was
looking at the EXP, it looks the same.
I was preparing myself for like Hazle to go in, but looks like Zorn gonna get caught in the yin-yang reaction. Here comes Hazle, taking it slow, not gonna full commit on this.
Yeah, it looks like for both teams, because again, this is the first game of the play-ins. They probably want to take it slow, take it steady, like get warmed up a little bit before they make any unnecessary mistakes. So I feel like it will ramp up eventually. Funnily enough, I kind of feel like Vamos will ramp up faster than Aero here, because I feel like the opening here coming in from Aero suggests that they don't want to take unnecessary risks. So I kind of feel like Vamos might be the one to be a little bit more willing to do something around the turtle.
Traditionally, Team Vamos is known to be the more aggressive early game team. A lot of that depends on their mid trio, and oh, the flicker from Reza. Great reaction time. Avoids the ejector.
Yep, so far it looks like, yeah, they understand that Vamos wants to make the first move, so you gotta be careful that you're not caught up. Now Reza, without that flicker though, is gonna be a little bit bad, because if you do have that flicker, you can actually force a fight. So without it, I kind of feel like Aero Esports, they can't take too much aggression.
Yeah, Team Vamos is gonna stick around just to provide vision, but they're clearly not intending to contest this now that Zorn has lost his only real way of engaging. So really well played by Reza there. And Double Force gonna throw the Gatot back into Aero 4-4. He gets CC chain forever. First blood to Zorn.
Yep. Team Vamos making the first move, even without that flicker. The Unstoppable Force able to keep up with Zekiv. It looks like good timing where Clockun and Aero 4-4 is there to follow up. So now what's the next step? I'm looking at Aero here. What is Hazel's game plan going to be? Is he actually going to be pressuring Nespresso a lot? Because look at this. Even Kusei is making sure that the minion stays on his side of the map. So if Nets wants something, he needs to put himself in a very dangerous situation.
Oh, they do find Zorn though. Gonna be scouted out by Zekiv. So a little bit of revenge there and able to give an assist over to Hazle as well.
Yep, so far it looks like just trading blows for blows, roam for roam, nothing too crazy so far. So if this is the pace that we're going, I'm looking at both teams and I kind of feel like Aero might be in the better spot just because in terms of scaling, unless the Granger has 4 or maybe 5 stacks of Sky Piercer, in terms of threat, I would say the Moskov is a bigger threat. But in Malaysia, Moskov hasn't been performing so well. Only 33% win rate here. So I'm believing that Kusei can do it on this Moskov come late game. But if he can't, then this is going to be a rough best of 5 for Aero.
Yeah, Moskov heavily depends on proper positioning and decision-making here. So, oh, Hazle finding Aero 404 while he's taking his buff. And he's gonna steal it away.
I mean, like, if you want to set the tempo that way, if you want to know, if you want a kid to know, it's like, hey, welcome to the play-ins, man. But I didn't play last week. This time, I'm gonna show you. This is a different Aero Esports.
Hazle is refreshed. You know, he's taken a bit of a break. You know, he went for his graduation. He's got to be feeling pretty good going into the playoffs. I think this is his first time playing Fanny this season. To AOG a bit early, Smooth. Gonna find Kim, forces the flicker out, electrifying beats as well. Not really doing too much because Reza's right there. Grab, pulls Zorn back in, revitalize, keeping them topped up. Hazle jumps in, final cut, killing spree for the Fanny. Smooth gonna lock him down once again, but the Spear of Misery pushes him into his own wall, and they pick him off. The kill going over to Kim. Hazle secures the turtle, and the glue jumps in once again, sets up Another kill for Kosei. Nesfresco gonna be grabbed once again. He is going to just be able to get out, but that is a great trade for Aero.
This is not good for Vamos fans because you can see in that previous turtle fight that the coordination isn't there. It's like everyone's doing their own thing. There's no coordination. There's no chemistry. Vamos needs to step up in terms of their communication. Make sure they understand what each individual is going to do. Because if this is going to be an individual game, Aero Esports, they'll punish. Like, if someone overextends, they will punish.
Yeah, I totally agree. This has been a problem from Team Vamos throughout the whole season, actually. A little lack of communication that leads to really big deficits because every other team has been working on that specifically this season. Like you mentioned, Lafel, every single player from Vamos was just trying to do their own thing, and I gotta respect Smooth. He was doing a great job of delaying the backline, but the rest of his team just had no way to enter and back him up.
I feel like start with the basics. What do you want? Right? Do you want a turtle? Do you want to kill? And if you want to kill, who? Right? As long as you have that basis of communication, then at least you know what kind of play that you want to do. Because it does look like Smooth, Zorn, Aero 404 are in different wavelengths. Because I feel like Zorn wants to set a kill for Aero 404 to get a kill. And I feel like Smooth was just trying to zone people away so that Aero can get the turtle. So two different plans here from both frontliners coming in from Vamos.
The problem with having a Jawhead and Badang as your setters on the side of Team Vamos is you basically need to be the one making the first move. If you are making the reactive play, you are oftentimes going to be starting the fight on the back foot, especially with heroes like Gatot and Glue, which take time to melt down. If Aero starts the fight, Team Vamos are oftentimes going to be scrambling just to keep up.
And again, I talked about this where it's going to be very difficult for Vamos to run away from this glue, especially when the glue does have that flicker. He just has to flicker in and then grabs onto Nets, right? Nets has a lot of dashes, but still, as long as the glue is on top of you, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to do anything. So, I don't know. Team Vamos, I feel like the coach already has to start discussing what to do in game number 2.
I do think so. This is already going out of control a little bit. Aero Esports is already 4K ahead in 7.5 minutes. It really doesn't feel like a lot has actually happened on the map, but that is much to the advantage of Aero. They have been taking very specific and very deliberate moves, which has actually given Hazle a 3-0 score.
Hold on to this graphic for a while, because if you look at the gold lane, not a lot of difference, but look at that jungle. 6,000 gold over to 3,660. Aero 404 has not been farming well, and it's mostly just because Hazle has been pathing much better, able to take his camps away before he even reaches it. So this is already a big problem for Vamos here. How are they going to contest where Aero 404 is this far behind?
They basically can only depend on Nesfresco at this point, right? He's the only one that's still keeping up in terms of farm, and you see the way Aero is moving around the map, they're making sure to stay together. Kim can always push them out of the spot. The flank.
Yep. I'm looking at Vamos here. In terms of their condition, I would say it's try to give Nits kill.
Oh,
now diversion coming in.
They're gonna go for the diversion. It doesn't go for the first target. He gets blasted. Yin Yang is just barely able to walk away.
That was a tap. That was a tap, and that dealt so much damage. So Aero right now, honestly, they can take it slow. They don't have to force it out. If they want to, they can, of course, but they don't have to, because now Kute, at 8 minutes and around 50 seconds, he already has the Trinity item. He has what he needs. If he wants more, maybe some defense, maybe a Wind of Nature just to make sure that you don't die. But overall, Aero, they can start controlling the map.
And they're doing that really, really well. Reza and Zkif can basically walk up with impunity. Hazle, they're gonna be, once again, trying to contest a buff away from Aero. Looks like he'll choose not to commit to it this time, but Aero are making very smart moves.
If Vamos can delay this game, right? Wait until everyone is at least level 15. Then maybe you can do something, right? Make it into an even playing field, and then at that point, start slowly giving that Sky Piercer stack over to Nets. If Nets has 5, I feel like that's enough to deal a lot of damage against Aero, because it's very clear with 5,000 gold advantage over to Aero, there's no way that Vamos can win the fight.
And they already would have, a diversion once again into the jungle. Zorn gonna scout it out, runs away. Reza misses, gets thrown back into Team Vamos. And Nespresso picks up his first kill of the game.
I would actually say that's not that big of a mistake, but more of a good play coming in from Zorn because he sidestepped the flicker, understanding where the angle is coming from. And then ejector back in, and the kill goes over to Nets. Nets has that Sky Piercer, and now he has 1 stack. A few more stacks after this, and now Vamos is back in the game. So this is good for Vamos. But Aero, I would say, yes, they lost a member, but it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal, but it also didn't really need to happen. I think Aero Esports, once they realized Zorn saw them coming, could have held back on the acceleration pedal a little bit. There was no real need to try and force that to happen. It's still fine though. Once again, they're going to be pushing down bottom. Aero 4-4 in a really bad spot. Electrifying Beats already used. And there's so much damage coming in from Yin Yang Reaction. Hazle gets the mega kill, stops him from running away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's nowhere for them to go. Aero is going to come back in 20-ish seconds. So I feel like he is going to be here for this base defense. But Aero Esports, they're going to get all tier 2s. Now they're looking at the inhibitors. The good thing is that the Holy Defense is still up. So Vamos, I feel like if they lose an inhibitor, maybe you can lose 1. If you lose 2, it's going to be lights out.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. Smooth tries to engage, gonna get jumped on himself. His crack comes out, grab, pulls him back. Reza picks up the kill. And the rest of the team, Vamos, literally cannot do anything to back him up.
And I feel like they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. They need to stay alive because the moment you're dead, you're not generating gold or EXP. So I feel like let someone die. You know, like Smooth, you're up a down. If you're out, you're out. Doesn't matter. Ness has to stay alive.
Aero 404 looking for a chance to enter. Zorn with the conceal. Not really gonna find a target. Blast ZK, but Nespresso is sniped in the backline by Kim. That is literally their most important member to keep alive.
At that point, I'm sorry, Nets. I told you need to stay alive, and maybe I jinxed it. Who knows?
Probably.
Not a good way to start game number 1, but this is the play-ins. We got to see how they evolve. If we're looking at a goal here, still not great, right? 1,000 difference between the gold laners. And we're looking at the jungle around 3,000, right? 2,000 and change. So this is definitely not looking good. If we're looking at the items coming in from Kim, having that glowing wand as well as the enchanted talisman, and just to make sure, in case anyone makes a play, he even has that winter truncheon. So Kim is paying a lot of respect for Vamos. Clockhood has not died, but still, he's 2,000 gold behind. And I don't think with the glowing wand as well as the blood wings, he's not going to be making that big of an impact.
And in the first place, Team Vamos still doesn't have the right heroes to melt down ZK for Reza. The Gator Kacha was stuck under the inhibitor for 5 seconds, and they couldn't kill him, and they still lost their gold laner in exchange. Aero Esports have been playing this very smart, very precise, and this is the type of strategy that Team Vamos is actually really vulnerable to.
Yep, very vulnerable too. And now they're going to be starting up the Lord, and looking at the lineup here, I don't think that Vamos should contest. So the most that they can do is probably clear the minions and maybe try to get a turret, maybe up top. But with how the Lord is dying right now, I feel like they won't have that time. And look at that diversion!
Here comes another one right into the jungle. Team Vamos trying to escape, but Smooth going to be left behind.
Oh no!
Zorn misses the ejector. Hazle jukes it out of him once again. And Team Vamos are just forced on a defensive position the whole game.
The sad thing is, even if he hit that ejector, I don't even know if they will have the damage to actually kill the guy, right? So this is definitely not looking good for Vamos. Maybe don't let go of that Fanny. You know, like Fanny, the Louis, it's like a little bit too much to give over to Aero.
A little bit. I think even the Fanny is somewhat manageable, but giving them the Loyi on top of it gives Aero too much map control. And when you lock yourself into Jawhead Badang, where you have to make things happen and you don't have map control, things are pretty bad for you. But here comes the Lord, gonna be pushing in up top. His crack connects with ZKip. He just heals it back up. Doesn't even need to pop the Revitalize just yet. Reza gonna be eating a good amount of damage. Hazle melting down Aero 404. Doesn't quite pick up the kill, but the top and mid inhibitors have both fallen, and Aero Esports are happy with that.
But that's a message, man. Like, ZKip tanked the turret shots, like what, 3 to 4 turret shots, and he still survived. I mean, like, sure, he has to use the Revitalize, but that does show that Team Vamos, even with 4 turret shots, they still don't have the damage to take down the Gato Kacha. And the problem for Vamos is that they don't really have a true front line. You have a way to engage. Now Divergent coming in.
They're waiting.
The smooth see it. Like, it's always smooth, by the way. It's always smooth.
He did not see it.
Oh, hold on.
They're waiting for Nespresso. They're trying to bait him out, but they'll reveal their position eventually. And I don't know if Vamos can hold this tower, actually.
I feel like they're actually planning for Zorn to pick someone off, right? I think they're willing to trade this turret if they can get someone. But the question is who? Because this is Zorn. He always tries to flank from behind. But if we remember last week, he tried to do the same thing against Aero, and Ziki smelled it out. So I think that he might not be able to do it for this game as well.
The fact that Ziki is being able to smell out one of his idols in the MPLC in the first season that he's playing toe-to-toe with them in the playoffs speaks a lot to the new generation. Just the presence he exudes by standing there, zoning out Team Vamos. We are 15 minutes in. It has been a slow burn, but a very effective one. Aero Esports now having a 10K goal lead. It's going to be nearly impossible to come back from this.
And the thing is, the only one that Vamos should try to kill is Hazle, because he's the only one that has more than 3 kills. So he's going to be the only one that can actually give that shutdown goal. If they kill Kusei, great, but he only has 1 kill. If you get Kim, he only has 2. So honestly, like, you only have 1 target.
Another diversion play. Zorn gonna get stuck, taunted by Ziki, blasted down. Fistcrack connects with 3, but he's not able to follow up on his flicker away. Spear of Destruction misses, but Hazle does not. He gets the monster kill, he goes back in, picks up the double. Error 404 has been denied.
My dad did told me this when I was a kid. Not having gold sucks.
It really does.
If he had more items there, maybe he could have done something against Hazle, but Hazle just out-damage him. There's nothing that he can do, and at this point, he's go next.
It's a 3v5 defense. Team Vamos have nothing. They have no items. They've got no money. They've got no crystal remaining because Aero Esports has taken everything, including a victory in game number 1.
Talk about opening with confidence. Vamos back on the drawing board. At least looking at their faces, they're not too distressed by this loss.